Hey friends, I know those servers have been super shitty, so I hope all of your losses are forgiven.
Oh!
Welcome to Rift Rant.
The one kill! Ben's up for double! Ben's up kill! Double it! Oh, look at the class, look at the moves! What was that?
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Rift Rant. I'm your host, Leonyx.
And I'm Moon, and today we're going to talk about our opinion of what success in esports is, and then we're going to have a special guest on call, Forg1ven, the AD carry of none other than SK Gaming.
So the reason why I want to talk about defining the success in esports is because actually I posted like a while back, and I was like, hey, Faker is the #1 player in all of esports history to be the best and has the most successful career in esports history. And I won't say who, but some people called me out and was like, no, they're not. No, he's not. No, he doesn't have the longest success. Someone on Fnatic.
Had
right?
a longer...
I had the longer success.
Okay.
Now, in my mind, I was going to write back and kind of like shotgun fire, like, no. But I realized that what I said was kind of jaded and misinterpreted, and kind of the context behind it wasn't. You can't fit it into 140 characters on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I know.
The reason why I want to talk about this, it brings up an interesting topic about who is successful, what is success.
Is it how long they've been around, or
Right.
the statements they made when they were there?
Now, I will explain my Twitter post. I said Faker is the #1 most successful esports player of all time.
Wow, yeah, that's a big one.
And the longest, right?
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is I'm saying it in the context of being #1 in the world.
Yeah.
The best. And I'm not even, talking about Abdo here, but Faker winning a world championship, going undefeated in winter, winter OGN, and consistently, and then win All-Stars Paris. And on an international level, he has been the most successful #1 guy in the scene. But if you talk about the success of a player, let's say Xpeke. Xpeke has won Season 1 World Championships, and he's continuously played well Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4,
Really
and now
long
Season
career.
5 on Origin.
That's
Now,
success.
even that's success in itself.
Yeah.
That's what held me back. I'm like, okay, these guys are actually right. It is a gray area of what is success to you. So I want to know your opinion as well. What is success? Is it being the #1 guy in the world for that long? Because Xpeke, on my degree, I could be right and I could be wrong for sure in what I said, but Xpeke is not the #1 guy of all time for that long in comparison to Faker.
Okay. I think, so your definition of success by this terms is how...
When I said it.
Yeah, how you said, like, how long they've been the best for.
Yeah.
But in general, I think that I do agree that that is a measure. I'm not saying that that's wrong. That is a definite valid way to measure success. But I think another equally valid way to measure success is the records that they've broken more specifically during gameplay. Like, oh, this guy has the best KD of all time in esports, stuff like that. I think that's also another really huge way, or CS or something like that, things like that. I think that's definitely a huge way to...
Now, when you talk about that, we're talking about inter-regional plays, right? So
Yeah.
like the most CS, KDA.
Yeah, but also on an international level, when there are like championships or any games that are international at all, like that also counts for it. So
Now here's a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Would you consider a mid-tier team in LCS to be successed? To like not being
Successful
relegated,
in
but
esports?
yeah, like to be not being relegated. Let's say we're always. I was gonna say we're always fourth, but but fifth, fourth,
Not
in
this
the
time.
middle of the pack, but never being the best. But would you say to a normal, let's say a casual,
Like a silver gold player.
yeah, right? To him, he's like, oh, they are successful because they're in the LCS. They're
Yeah.
professionals.
They're
Like,
point zero, like zero something something zero something of the best players. Like, yeah, that's already having not only getting that high in like ranked being challenger, that's a success in and of itself. But when you get to be at a professional level and then being one of the top 5 professional teams that there are, like, or top. I mean, they're all successful because they're all in the LCS, but the really like super successful ones are top 5-ish, in my opinion.
Now, I remember there was some community flack of like, oh, during the expansion tournament, for instance, a couple months ago, and oh yeah, Final 5, these guys and Coast and Gravity and Fusion, they were gonna make it into LCS. We want them to make it, da da da. And then I bring up, say Thorn for instance, he brings up, oh, remember this is a tournament for the last 2 spots in LCS for 9th and 10th place.
Yeah.
So, of course, yeah, them making it in is successful. Like, oh, great.
You got in.
Applaud to you,
But
right?
now, that's only one stepping stone.
To making it into LCS, and that in terms of those organizations, yeah, that's successful to them. But if you're going to be an elitist about it, I guess, right? I'm whatever. If you're going to be an elitist, or speaking of international and top tier, that is minuscule in comparison to, of that accomplishment. If we talk about Doublelift, for instance.
Doublelift's
Success.
definitely very successful. I don't think he's successful as he is as successful as he should
No, but
be.
you would say he's successful, right?
He's very successful.
He's very successful. Very long standing career.
No,
The
yeah,
most
absolutely.
one of the most notable, players in all of the world. But he hasn't won a LAN. He hasn't won a tournament. He's never done anything of that sort. He's just successful in his, in his popularity, I guess,
think
right?
he's personally successful. I don't, because that's also why I bring up the point of a person's stats as showing their success, because when you talk about how many times their team has won or how high their team has been placed, that's team success. But personal, like how you say Doublelift is successful, is CLG super successful?
I would say, back in...
Is CLG as successful as Doublelift, in your opinion? Because I think that's what separates your opinion of success and mine. I think you're looking at it more on a team level.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it more on a personal level. So that would explain that.
Okay, well, when you bring up, is CLG successful? Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're successful, but...
Season 1 and, early Season 2, those guys were the NA team at the time. And, of course, you've built a legacy around a brand for sure. And, there will always be a TSM, CLG, and now even Cloud9 fans, even, Cursed Liquid fans. But I think it's safe to say maybe the relevancy and Doublelift at the time when CLG is kind of like falling off the part, they kept CLG mainstream.
Yeah.
With like he's the headliner for them.
Yeah.
After they've fallen off, after they got back from Korea, after
everything went wrong.
Yeah, right. I think him as a player can keep a brand together and keep.
So you think that around him, CLG is successful? Basically, he helped keep them up when they were getting down?
I think it's part of it.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think, legacy built by Hotshot, those guys were great. And even SK, I know that I'm maybe being biased just bringing them up. But even SK, at the time, SK was like this powerhouse, and Ocelot was on that team. He's a very emotional player, and even crying when he's losing, right?
Yeah.
And he's built a contextual story there. And it brings, SK to, even though, SK is known for CS, Counter-Strike. And the different games and, that they've provided in esports. But to stay relevant, obviously, you've picked up those players. And at the time, SK has won a split, but it's like, oh, they won a split, but it goes unnoticed because of, the contextual, players there. And it's just like, oh, there's no superstar players. Hopefully that changes for some of the teams. Now, let's bring up Maple Street, for instance. One of the guests on our show last episode. I would say, yeah, he's successful, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe not the best in the world, but I'm sure every player, at least most players in the LCS or professional players, have thoughts of, hey, I want to, be that guy. I want to represent a region.
They don't want to be a staple of a region, yeah.
Yeah. So
which is what essentially Faker is and what Doublelift is. They're definite staples of regions. So I think throughout this discussion, it was very clear that you can't just say what is success in esports. I think it's very different between what is a successful player in esports, like who's successful, and what is a successful team in esports, because there's a huge difference.
Faker's still the best. He's still the most successful player in esports. I still hold that.
True to your statement.
True to my statement. Providing the right context.
Yeah, providing
maybe
the right context.
Maybe
yes.
my tweet wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's the most successful. Had the longest success at
the top.
At the top.
Yeah,
at
being
international,
the top for the longest
and
time.
saying, "I am a robot. I play mid perfectly. Whatever."
And I'm cute.
And I'm cute. All right. Up next, we have Forg1ven on call from SK Gaming. So stay tuned. Hey SK fans, we're back, and we're joined by a very special guest, no other than the Overlord himself, Forg1ven.
The AD carry of SK Gaming.
Yeah, we not only do NA guests, but we also do EU calls. So Forg1ven, what I want to know is these last 4 games, is it testing your true skill as an AD carry, or do you feel that you are considerably the best AD carry in the EU scene right now?
Well, I gave an interview after the match with Joel, I think, and I pretty much said that, like, I believe that I am the best AD carry, but I expressed my belief and my confidence, not any arrogance or anything else. But there is also the other side of the coin, which is that we played only against 4 teams, and like 2 of them at the moment don't seem really promising. So I guess we will find out more as the games progress or as the season progresses.
Before you were with SK, there was a statement that you made about them saying that their individual play was really good, but what makes a team great is their team play. Do you think that you, and being in addition to the team, bring that to the table for them?
Like for us, it seems that everyone is at the moment at least in sync with each other, and everyone enjoys playing with each other. So it's natural that at some point after a lot of practice, things and like the in-game aspect started to get going and like not remaining like steady or static in a way. And like TLDR, I think that the old school players in SK has more of a responsibility, or like are the players that are making the calls instead of me or Fox, for example. And I think they're doing a good job.
When you're playing with Copenhagen Wolves, you had Amazing as your jungler, and I know that you really like to have a play style where your team is all helping you carry and is very supportive to you. So do you think that now playing with Svenskeren, he offers the same, or if not a better jungle style for your AD carry play style?
Yeah, I think that it was a clear misconception that I used to get pillar also to help on my team, especially in CW, because CW, I think, main Kensa were the only AD carries, but didn't actually got pill or help from the team in any sort of team fight. And in like a proof of this is like, I think Amazing mostly talked about it, and even in an interview when he was asked back then on live streaming LCS, that I had to pick champions that had some sort of mobility or a dash or something, but had like a fast escape, so I could rely on myself killing people, bothering people enough to go on me and then die, and then like the rest of my team killing them. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. Like with my playstyle and like the bad or good reputation that I have, I'm not the best player to play a champion that has no escape at all. That's why, for example, I don't get to pick picks that I usually liked or people used to say that it was like my most played in solo queue in Season 4. For example, mainly I can pick Varus into the equation, but that's basically it. I don't think that I was a player that got a lot of pill and help from CW. I was actually the one that was creating most of the stuff. I think we play as a team, but we also have the asset that we have in Seven Stroke individual players in our team, and like that's basically it. Like we are a good team, and we have really good individual players. Like if something goes bad on lanes or whatever, we have a good ability to come back from it and make the games look as like a team effort and not as an individual effort. Like someone played until like 60 minutes, farmed like 700 CS, and like, oh my god, this guy is so good, like he's the best player from this team. Everyone gets a piece, not of a pie, but everyone gets a piece of a win. Everyone feels that they committed and they succeeded into helping the team, playing as a team instead of like playing one for like five playing for one guy. If you understand what I'm trying to say, that's what I believe at least.
Yeah, yeah. With the various team offers that you've gotten over the past couple months, do you feel that SK was the perfect fit for you?
I think it was a good choice, maybe the best choice, I guess. But like it's actually a bit too early to discuss. I think we have to see how the season will develop and how we are going to do if we join, for example, the playoffs. Because how should I say it? Like I have to find the phrase. Like mainly it's just too early, but I don't want to be like a guy that sees in the future stuff. So I don't want to say something that, for example, in 1v1 it will seem like hilariously bad or something, but it was like blown out of proportion or anything. So, like for example, we have 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks of LCS or 3, we play Fnatic and Alliance, and these are considered along with us the top 3 teams. I consider Rocket in there too, for example, but they had a bad schedule or a hard schedule. So I guess we're going to see at least those 4 teams competing for these top 4 places. So I guess we will find out.
Yeah, definitely a hype season for you guys. A couple days ago, Costa, I actually got to interview Doublelift of CLG, and he actually has some strong opinions about you. He says that you and him are the best AD carries in the West. No one else matters. Thoughts?
I think this coming from Doublelift feels really, really nice because, at least for me, it means a lot because when I started playing the game in 2012, 2011, Christian, I think. Doublelift was one of the first streamers that I saw, and he actually, like his insane individual skill and his style of playing AD carry back then really motivated me to play AD carry. And as you can understand, like when you look up to a player and this player mentions you in an interview, it feels really, it feels something else, like it's something different. Like I can't find even the correct word right now. I would like to thank him for his statement. And as of the part that if we indeed are both the best, I would say from an A, I will take it in a bit different way. I would say in an A, Doublelift and Sneaky are like top 2, but I think Doublelift is way more better individual player, and Sneaky always had, at least in C9 back then, not now, the better team. Doublelift always had lackluster teams. As of in Europe, I think at the moment, like me, Reckless, and then Reckless and Woolite are really promising. I mean, Reckless had like this loss with Fnatic, and in general he got, like, he's not in the spotlight right now because people hate him because he made a decision to go into a better team. That's why you honestly don't hear of him. He is a really good player. Like, everyone has basically his own playstyle, but Reckless makes it work. And in general, everyone, like even Gedza, he had like a playstyle, but for example, he never built it Last Whisper, or he played picks that were out of the meta, for example, and stuff. So I think that there are 2 people, both in NA and both in Europe, that are really good, but I guess it's up to people to judge who is like the best and stuff, because some players that are like staying in the back line, just killing people that come to them, and like some others, like people that are more aggressive. But I think as of mechanical aspects, clearly, I think I can agree with Doublelift with what he says. But TLDR, not TLDR, like, I mean, it's way easier to be on the spotlight when you are on a winning team, but with good individual performances, than to be on a bad team with good or decent individual performances. But how I see it, I really think Doublelift is a really good player in general. Back then I was a fanboy, but right now I would like some time to play against a player that I look up to. That's all. It will be an honor. I
want to talk about supports. Now you're with nRated. You used to be with multiple different supports back in the past, especially in Copenhagen Wolves and the LCS. Do you feel that nRated has kind of made you excel at your role, or what are your philosophies on supports? Is it, nRated is letting me make all the plays, he allows opportunities for you, or is it you kind of dictating him and saying, I want to do this?
Well, in general, my not philosophy, but how I thought of how the support should be playing at least in the lane phase was like they should work as a second AD carry. They should put equal or more pressure to the enemy than the AD carry almost. And like I don't think that they are babysitters or whatever people were calling the role. I think support has developed enough, but they can be even carries in a way, even after the mid game with correct items or correct item paths, for example. As of nRated, I think nRated is like even if you take a look back and you see like he's won splits, he's won tournaments, like he's a really respectable player and he's like 3 or 4 times my history in the game. Like I don't feel that I stand anywhere near to his achievements and to how successful he has been on his previous teams or the current team or the team behind the one that I competed on, which was Escape with Jesus and Cat Panda. And I think what I try to do with players that are playing the game since like season 1, because he's basically a season 1 player, is that I try to confront in a way the way that they think that they are settled. Like I want nRated to be a player that he understands that he can be one of the best players in the West again, and like I just try sometimes to pump his ego in a way that like because people are saying like Yellow Star is the best and Yellow Star like also season 4 best support and wow and so good player, but I think that nRated has equal quality or even more, but it's up to him and his motivation and his character how he can take advantage of it. Like I'm trying to do work, but ultimately it's up to everyone as a player to understand what they can do and what they want from the game and from the partners.
I want to ask you a little bit about meta going on right now. Season 5, I know you have a huge champion pool. You've played, I think, 1080 carries in your professional career. Who do you think is a champion that is going to excel this season with all of the changes?
Yeah,
and the item changes and all the buffs and nerfs. What do you think?
New Tristana, Kalista, thoughts, opinions on different champions and new champions?
I think the current flavor of the month is pretty much indicative. Like Grapes is insane strong pick, and with like for example, I have a question: why don't people pick up Kog'Maw? Which I think it's a really good champion, and he's good early, he's good mid game, he's good late game. It's pretty much disgusting. And I think it should be nerfed, even though it doesn't see highlight of play at the moment from people. I think the champion, it's not hidden OP, it was always OP. It's just that people don't seem very fond of Kog'Maw. Also, while I think Kalista is really good for solo queue, I think it can maybe work in a team environment, but I don't know because it's like a champion like Sivir or Varus in a way, like or not Varus, like let's say it's something like Sivir, like it has like this pseudo mobility, like pseudo escape mechanism, but like he hits when he moves. But for example, imagine if let's say the current, like let's say game, alright, and like the current meta picks are like, for example, Lissandra on top lane and like Syndra. If you get stunned, you're dead without QSS, but the passive of Kalista won't even save you even for a second. So I think people in general are at the moment very fond of like champions with cap closers. And as of me, I didn't get that much of a reputation for my champion pool. I was actually, at least in Spring Split, a player that was criticized a bit because I played only Lucian and Caitlyn most of the times when they were not banned or picked by teams. So I think like Graves, Kog'Maw, and Kalista, with Graves being really good at the moment, I think Kog'Maw and Kalista can see more play.
Do you have any more shout-outs, plugins for fans?
Not necessarily. Like I would like to fan actually here, but I just sometimes don't want to mention people. But I guess it's good. I would like to thank SK for big part of our team because I really enjoy playing at the moment with the people in the team. Like it's a really better environment than my previous teams or the teams that I have played. I would like to thank our sponsors like HyperX, Medium, and all the sponsors that are actually making SK a good name to hold to, like to have team in eSports and like making them commit into League of Legends except of other games. I think it's pretty much it. Like I don't want to quote people. I'm sorry.
All right, that wraps up our show. Thank you, Forg1ven, for talking to us. I'm Leonyx.
I'm Moon. This was brought to you by SK Gaming.
Special thanks to HyperX for providing the studio. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
For your chance to win your very own HyperX headset.
Other than that, till next time.
Peace out.